Got that all hot wired there, and I can sit down. Guys, we're trying a little bit of a new setup. My room, my Rings of Power viewing room, as you can see. Rings of Power Season 2, Episode 2. May as well just jump in because, yeah, that last episode was so riveting.
Get some kind of directions.
Welcome to the lands of Rune. Why are you looking at it like that?
Spending a lot of time reviewing this, considering it just happened.
I've had many. It is to be given directly to Lord Celebrimbor. He must be informed that Halbrand is Sauron.
Forgive me, my lord.
He must be. Oh. We're back at Mordor. The darkness is spreading. Perfect. I wonder if that's the travel lines of the orcs. Khazad-dûm. And they can't see it because of the size of my TV, but trust me when I say, it's all good. The Dwarves really do look cool in this show. This is slow. So one of the things that's going on here is Durin, or whatever his name is. Durin, because his dad's name is also Durin, is they're in a fight, they're in a squabble because, well, you know, that's what dwarves do. And she's his, Durin the Fourth's wife, and she's girl boss, kinda, which means that she's smart. Okay, so now not only does she know what's going on in the mountain, she also knows the mountain personally. Okay, so it's like in the heart, she knows, she gets it. Okay, so yeah, so give it the best intentions. Understand, she matters. Okay, she's super important in everything. They're digging too deep. Darkness fills the earth. Okay, here we go. Long intro, skipping it. I'm really looking forward to the day when all these kinds of intros are done on streaming. Right, her dear brother, the guy that gave the really good thoughts about the ship floating and a rock sinks because one's made of wood like a duck. Oh, and he uses spooky voices now too. Excellent. Oh. Are those supposed to be the seeds that she planted?
You planted.
Adult themes, kids. Adult themes. Remember? Remember? Yeah. Oh, she knows the truth. But will she do anything with the truth? Oh.
We believe he intends to supplant Adar and claim his armies.
How did they come to that conclusion? And why are they calling it Mordor all of a sudden? Doesn't make sense. His ears are way too big, along with his neck.
Certain that is where he remains.
What makes you say that?
Because I've seen him in a vision. Just speak up, woman. Ugh, she's being a woman. She's not saying what's actually going on inside of her mind. She's giving all these other peripheral things.
And he cannot craft them.
The guy just had a ton of rings on his hand in the last episode, and now he's like, I'm gonna take my rings off, those other ones, all my my football rings and my graduation ring and all that. I'm gonna take that off, and I'm gonna put on only this one ring. That's right, this one ring, it dominates all of them. It's more pretty than the rest, so it goes solo, baby. 'Cause that makes sense. I mean, it really does, because it is the most powerful ring, and it's you don't want to have inferior objects on your hand.
Deceiver obtains a being's trust. He gains the ability to sculpt their very thoughts. To deceive not only their heart and mind, but their...
She's compromised, kids. That's what that means. So, alright. So that whole thing was, Galadriel was getting a ton of visions and saying that, seeing what Sauron was going to get up to, and then the High King was like, Hey, what's bothering you? And she ends up giving up this, like, big, long exposition about all this stuff that really had nothing to do with anything they were talking about or what she was dreaming about. And then, and then he was like, yeah, we need to stop Sauron because I'm also having visions. And she's like, no, I can see his visions. And guy's like, yeah, he's actually messing with your brain. She's like, but I can see his. So basically what she's saying is, I'm a girl, and, I can fix him. That's what I got out of this. And it's probably true. She probably can, because this is Rings of Power, baby. And no one can stop my girl Galadriel. So, now we're at whatever this place is. Eregion. Okay, so the next scene was basically that Sauron is like, hey, I'm here, Celebrimbor, and Celebrimbor is like, nah, I'm not gonna see ya. So we know that Halbrand, he's into short blondes. That's what we're gathering. And yeah, there was also a water basin that was in the forging room. I'm gonna assume they probably lowered that from the ceiling as well, because they lowered the anvil from the ceiling. So that's logical. It's logical to assume that. Oh, that's the messengers, and they've been killed. Interesting. This is good music. What place are we in now? Give us the name. Should flash on the screen. Karas Ger, Western Rune. Oh, it's the Saruman guy. They're really trying to, like, confuse you with all the moths. I bet you it's Saruman. Adult themes. So weird. So that was a lot of time showing you a bunch of moths for, like, no reason, and then that whole scene was a lot of moth time. To be like, go get the halflings. They could have summed up that quite quick, but because they care about exposition, and they care about you taking your time. Now, okay, so here's one of the things that I actually realized as I was thinking and dwelling upon this, that these guys, they're making sure their show is slow because Tolkien was slow and boring, right? So if Tolkien was slow and boring, they want to honor him by also being slow and boring. You're welcome. Now you're like, now you know what was going on in their minds. They're like, if we take our time and drag everything out far longer than it needs to be, we're being Tolkienian. Plus all that gore and violence, that also helps us be Tolkienian.
No one can give you a name.
Except your parents. Your parents can give you a name.
Who you are.
Says here, if we turn northeast, we can cut this leg of the journey in half.
So what about the song? They were supposed to sing a song to follow the path, and now she's like, we could just go that way, towards the mountain, which if we followed, then we could have been, like, just gone over it and not been going around circles.
They are watching our trail, meaning we'd be wise to find another.
That's right, when you're looking to get away from people that are hunting you down, it's to go into the most wide open, obvious space humanly possible, right? Because otherwise, they would expect you to be trying to hide in amongst the cracks and the crevices and stuff. So if you just keep going where no one expects you, because that's the Hobbit way, then that's what you can do. So, because the closer you are to danger, the further you are from it. So all that Hobbit scene to prove that they're being followed by the guys, which we knew, and that they have Hobbity abilities, like cloaks, that make it look like you're under a rock. But they're not magic cloaks. They're just normal Hobbit cloaks. For, like, dirty, hippie hobbits. And, yeah, you don't need magic elf cloaks to make it so you can hide. That's right. That's all you need, is dirty hobbit stuff.
Now, the obvious remedy.
The obvious remedy is to listen to the woman, because she's going to give you the right advice. Will he do that, though?
To identify a safe path to dig.
I'm afraid that's true.
Yep. Girl bosses working together in action. All right. The power of one. The power of two. The power of many.
For 9 centuries.
Shouldn't have listened to her. So that was a really long expositional part where basically we see that Durin's having a hard time, and Disa is right all the time. So Durin the Fourth, hard time, Disa's right, the rest of it. So, yeah. Pretty much sums all that up. But she has her own struggles, so she's not like a Mary Sue, because she can't hear the mountain anymore.
Elrond used me, and under his hand I was played like a harp to a melody not of my choosing.
Wow.
It was entirely of your choosing.
It totally is. He's right again. Elrond. Nailing the truth all the time in this show. I mean, who would have seen it coming that Galadriel is actually the bad guy in Lord of the Rings? The one who's caused all of the pain, all of the suffering, and all of the stuff that's going to happen later in Lord of the Rings. I never thought that. Man, this mainly makes me question, like, everything about my own life. Wow. That's some good writing. I think that's the guy that needed to shave because he didn't look like an elf. And so, they made him look like an elf.
Tears of fire.
See, now he really does look like an elf now.
Judge.
But he's not smart like an elf. So, Elrond is like, rings are dangerous. And Galadriel admits she's been deceived, and then tries to manipulate Elrond. So Elrond goes and speaks to the guy who was also deceived by the rings, and is now being convinced by the guy who was also lured by the power of the rings to go to Sauron. I feel like a setup is coming. I feel the chill in my bones. And at this point in the story, we're definitely going to see him hit a rock with a stick to get water because of Moses. Right? Because we're in the desert. They're in an Exodus. Huh? Well, those guys are jerks. They're making him pull them. They should be pulling him. He's the senior.
What are you doing? Get back here! I saw it. I know I saw it. Come on. Poppy's not.
What did you see? Over a hill.
See what?
How did she see that? That doesn't even...
How could someone? I've got it. Great goats, you're alive. For a moment there, I thought we'd.
That's a really long ringing bell. How far did that thing go? She only wound it for like 5 seconds. The shepherd's staff. Nice. There's the bad guys. Oh, does he use his staff for the first time? Is he gonna go, I'm gonna stop those guys? The stick shriveled, but he's not? Why is he not just keeping going? No. Okay, so they're out of the show now. Perfect. He's very patient. Very, very patient. That umbrella, not gonna lie, it's definitely pro. Like, super high, you hold it high up, so that you can stop all the water from hitting above your head, but not stop the water below. Now, I mean, that design could work if you held it lower. Look how wet Sauron is to Celebrimbor, who has the umbrella. Like, the water's coming down, he's been just standing outside, and now Celebrimbor has an umbrella and is, like, funneling water onto himself? Wait a minute. Look at his back.
I applaud your patience.
You can see the shirt underneath. And he's not injured. And he's still wearing the same outfit. How was hair dry? He was just soaking wet.
How this feels. After all this
The show is so
many
dark.
centuries to finally create something. I'm going to open a first stage bottle. I have been
He's gonna drink?
saving you.
What? How is that Elven? I mean, if he was a dwarf, maybe, but...
Because there is no place for half-truths between those who have worked so close as you and I.
I'm Sauron. Say it. Tell him. Tell him!
Elves are not men. Men are covetous.
Well, so are the elves. We've seen that already. It's Sauron.
What?
It's called an omen.
Take it.
I'm the Dark Lord.
Not just
I feel the tension.
the dwarves.
You cannot expect me to believe that you are a messenger from the Valar. Sent.
Halbrand.
He's gone. He's so tricky. The blood is spilled. The anvil's gone. Where'd it go? Seriously, do they just like hoist it up to the ceiling every time they're not using it? But really, where's the anvil? That's what I want to know. You should be looking for...
Save all Middle Earth.
You should be looking for the anvil. Use the light to look for the anvil.
I can bring you the knowledge none other possesses.
Oh, the eye! The eye! I see what he's doing. It's the eye. That's nice illusions. They're calling Killer Brimborn the Lord of the Rings. Again, back to the One Ring, as opposed to having all those other ones. And no one's questioning this. Okay, so Killer Brimborn's like, hey, Sauron, come into my house. And then Sauron's like, okay, I'll come in your house, because that's what I've been waiting for, is to make sure that I can trick you into making you think that I'm a good guy, that's going to help you. And Killer Brimborn's like, I can't prove that. You can't prove that at all. And then, yeah, no. And then you have the illusion of the eye of Sauron. Because that's what you have to do, is you have to pull from the movies. So... this is quality writing, kids. Quality writing. Elrond going against his better judgment. Man, I think it's just like this whole, like, what would a guy do for a woman? Apparently that's what we're learning here. He'd sacrifice everything. Because she was wrong. But, whatever.
Elrond's task is not to join your company, but to lead it.
That's a slap in the face. Ooh, burn. So Elrond, he's like, yeah, no, I'm the boss. Adar, he's the daddy. Me, I'm the boss. So there you go. Speaking of which, we haven't seen Adar yet and all of his orc buddies. Intense music pursues the moment. Lingering stares between two friends who are not so much friends or whatever. Hello? Well, there we have it, kids. Okay, so the dwarves have been invited to Eregion, because messages go that fast in Middle-earth. Okay, so, now, I mean, this shouldn't be like a surprise to you, because they have magic, and they have sources, we can text and watch movies. So if they can text, obviously messages can go really, really fast. It's definitely a possibility, so don't question it, It's just good writing, bringing in some of today's stuff to give context to the things that are, in the show. So, yeah. So there you go. That's so what would I say about this episode? It was better than the first.